Meeting. Before Mayor Parker calls the meeting to order, we ask that you please silence all electronic devices. For those of you who have requested to speak, there are two podiums in the chambers. The podium in the back is for individuals with mobility concerns. We ask all others to step forward to the front podium. Each podium has a countdown clock located to the speaker's right that will indicate how much time is remaining. A bell will sound when you have 30 seconds left. Speakers registered on consent agenda items will be taken following the announcements of any items being pulled from consent. Speakers registered on non-consent items other than the public hearings and zoning cases will be taken following council announcements. Speakers will be given 3 minutes to speak on all items within those blocks that they registered to speak on. Before you begin your comments, please state your name. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to your city council meeting. I'll call us to order.
Tonight's invocation will be given by Rabbi Brian Zimmerman from Beth El Congregation. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the pledges of allegiance.
Thank you so much for the honor of welcoming the representatives of the Jewish community of Fort Worth here tonight. We stand here with you after a week that has shattered any sense of calm in the Jewish community here and around the world. And so as you begin your deliberations as a city council, we thank you for your support on behalf of the Jewish community of Fort Worth. Our prayer for you, for the Jewish community, for all who are subject to bigotry, anti-Semitism, violence, irrational hate, for all who are victims of terror. Our prayer begins with these Hebrew words at our times of fear and need. Avinu Sheba Shamayim Makor HaChaim, our God in heaven, our source of life and of strength. We are grateful to the mayor and the city council for their support of the Jewish community of Fort Worth. This is an intensely painful time for us, as so many in our community have family and friends in Israel, and we know many on the front lines fighting for survival. We thank you for your support at this time of need. Avinu Sheba Shamayim Makor HaChaim, our source of God in heaven, our source of strength. We know in the Jewish community that you represent a diverse and wide community. And so we are grateful for your leadership, your support to the Jewish community. And we are equally grateful that you are reaching out to other faith communities, Christian, Muslim, and so many others, who we know also experience a great sense of loss at this time. We pray for your strength as you guide this city at this time of turmoil. We pray for compassion so that you may see all of our citizens created in the image of God. We know too well there are powerful forces in our country that want us to break down into a tribalism of one against the other. We pray that you will resist and have the fortitude to resist those efforts to divide, to stand firm against acts of anti-Semitism, anti-Jewish behavior, and all acts of hate that would seek to turn us one against the other. May your hands and your hearts, your minds, be resolute and strong as you guide our city to a place of law and love, kindness and justice. Amen.
Our first item of business will be the special presentations, with the first one being a presentation of proclamation for the Jewish Federation of Fort Worth and Tarrant County.
Councilmember Beck will preside over this proclamation, and I'll join her down at the podium.
And anyone else that would like to join us at the podium is more than welcome to. Okay, perfect. All right. So with us here this evening, we have Rabbi Andrew Bloom from Congregation of Shalom. You've already heard from Rabbi Brian Zimmerman from Bethel, Robert Simon, who is the president of Congregation Bethel, Howard Rosenthal, who is the associate director of the Jewish Federation, Hal Ratner, who is president of Havat Shalom, and Cindy Simon, who works tirelessly at the Federation. And then we also have Barry Abels, who is the executive director of the Jewish Federation. And I appreciate the mayor so much being down here with me tonight. And while I know everyone on this dais is not standing here, you will be shortly. Thank you so very much. I'm going to try to get through this without being emotional, but our rabbi was right. It has been a very hard week for those of us in the Jewish community, because it's not just an attack on Israel, it's an attack on who we are as a people. When you come for us, one of us, you come for all of us. And it's been a struggle, and every one of you on this dais has been so supportive of the Jewish community and myself personally, and so thank you. Thank you for your calls, your text messages, your emails, making sure that we are okay. And while I know that you're checking on me, you're also checking on everybody that's standing behind me, and those all of the Jewish community here in Fort Worth, as we've seen a rise in hate, not just in Israel, but right here in the city of Fort Worth. So thank you for standing with us so strongly to push back against that, because if you hate one of us, you hate all of us. Mira, did you want to? Okay. Okay. They can come up whenever you want to. All right.
If
Come on
anybody
down.
wants to join us from the community.
Don't be shy. Mayor does not bite.
You didn't say you
I very clearly left that omission, yes. Okay, if we're ready. Whereas the Jewish community has been an integral part in the Fort Worth community since before our founding, when two Jewish merchants opened stores near the courthouse. As Fort Worth grew, so did the Jewish population, and in 1892, Congregation of Shalom was established as the city's first synagogue. Whereas Fort Worth has long been a place of tolerance and support of the Jewish community, dating back over a century when, in response to barbaric pogroms by the Russian Empire, religious leaders of multiple faiths from across the city signed a proclamation condemning these acts of the Russian Tsar and raised money to resettle Jewish immigrants right here in Tarrant County. Whereas the state of Israel is an important ally in the to the United States and a friend of the city of Fort Worth, and serves as the national homeland of the Jewish people, representing their history, religion, culture, and identity. And whereas the mission of the Jewish Federation of Fort Worth and Tarrant County is to build a strong and unified Jewish community in order to ensure the well-being and continuity of the Jewish people in Tarrant County, in Israel, and throughout the world. And whereas the Jewish Federation of Fort Worth and Tarrant County urges elected leaders to stand with Israel and the Jewish community in Fort Worth and reject terrorism in the face of horrific, unprovoked attacks on the people of Israel that began October 7th, 2023. And whereas anti-Semitic rhetoric is on the rise across our nation and in our community, Fort Worth has recently suffered grotesque displays of hate and anti-Semitism in businesses and gathering places. These actions and people who equivocally with the people of Israel, the Jewish Federation of Fort Worth and Tarrant County, and the entire Jewish community of Fort Worth to mourn the lives tragically lost and pray for an end to the horrific violence targeted at the people of Israel and the Jewish community in Fort Worth. And whereas the Fort Worth City Council encourages residents of Fort Worth to firmly reject all forms of hate in the city and show support and love for the hurting of local Jewish community during our difficult times. Now, therefore, the city of Fort Worth does hereby recognize and proclaim support for the state of Israel, the Jewish Federation of Fort Worth and Tarrant County, and the Jewish community. Thank you. And this is for you. And then have IDs. One group picture. Okay. All right, bring it all in. Bring it all in.
Come this way.
Mayor does not bite. You know I do. Yeah, we can shift all good. Yeah.
I don't want to block you.
No, I'm good. Are we good?
Everybody look in the center, please. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, to my camera so I can get a shot.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, thank you. Mayor Parker, Councilwoman Beck, and the rest of the city council, and everyone here today, I really can't tell you how important this proclamation is to our community and to Israel. For so many years, Israel in the press and in the world stage receives the short end of the stick. And it's really a shame that it takes such heinous acts of terrorism and an all-out war for so many to wake up. But you all here at this city that I love to call my home, I've been here for 3 years and I'm never leaving. It's a proud moment, it's an important moment, and your support in light of what's going on the world stage and in light of what's going on in our community in terms of anti-Semitism and hate that impacts every single one of us. It means so much, and we will treasure this proclamation and the support offered by the city to Israel, to our federation, and to the entire Jewish community. Thank you so much. Thank you again.
Anytime.
Next will be a presentation of proclamation for the Fort Worth Fire Station number 18, 100th anniversary.
Councilmember Hill, and I think you have a few guests with you today as well.
I want to make sure that we have all of Fire Station 18 that's here, Arlington Heights. Anybody else from Arlington Heights here that would like to come up down? You're welcome. And Chief, thank you. Whereas commissioned as part of the Fort Worth City Beautiful Project in 1922 to 1923, Fort Worth Fire Station 18, one of the 10 bungalow-style fire stations, was built for $18,000. And whereas Fort Worth Fire Station 18, situated at the corner of Camp Bowie Boulevard and Carlton Avenue, began operating on October the 18th, 1923, and is the longest operating fire station in Fort Worth. And whereas by the mid-1970s, the historic building was at risk of being torn down, but was saved by the dedicated efforts of the Arlington Heights Sector Council and underwent $250,000 in renovations in the mid-1980s, preserving the historic exterior but changing the inside. And whereas unknown to all in 1923, Fire Station 18 at 1908 Carlton would be the last standing bungalow fire station and would go down in the history of Camp Bowie Boulevard as one of the oldest buildings in Arlington Heights neighborhood. And whereas Fire Station 18 has thrived and served the residents of Fort Worth for 100 years and will continue to provide excellent service to the community for many years to come. We thank the Fort Worth Fire Department and all who have served over the history of Fire Station 18. Now, therefore, the City of Fort Worth does hereby proclaim and celebrate October 16th, 2023 as the 100th anniversary Fort Worth Fire Department Station number 18 in the City of Fort Worth.
Appreciate you.
So much.
Next will be a presentation of proclamation for Mana Day, North Texas 15th anniversary.
And Councilwoman Martinez.
Mayor and Council, it is my distinct pleasure to present this next proclamation to Maná de North Texas, not only because of the great work that they do, but because I am a proud lifetime member and support Maná's mission to empower Latinas through leadership development, community service, and advocacy. Here to accept the proclamation is past President Amy Arriaga, President Melanie Cedillo, and fellow members Xochitl Villalpando, Elisa Lopez, Leti Gomez, Gianna Gomez, Andrea Rivera, Victoria Esquivel, and Sandra Garcia. Ladies, will you please come up to the podium as I read the proclamation to the record, and then if a representative would like to give some brief remarks, you may do so. Whereas Maná, a national Latina organization, was founded by Mexican-American women in 1974, Maná is a national community of Latinas actively working to create a better quality of life for Hispanics. And whereas Maná de North Texas was founded in August 2008, when the Maná National Latina Organization and the Hermanitas Leadership Institute conference was held in Fort Worth, Texas. The conference brought in students from across the country who traveled to Fort Worth along with their madrinas, or mentors, and Maná Hermanas, or members. The program included workshops with guest speakers and an educational experiential day in the city. And whereas the Hermanitas Leadership Institute promotes educational achievement and personal enrichment for young Latinas ages 11 to 18. And whereas Avanzamos is a Maná program that helps develop members as leaders and strong women with adult financial literacy education, youth mentoring, capacity building, and countless local program initiatives to meet the needs of Latinas in today's ever-changing environment. And whereas under the leadership of local leaders, Maná de North Texas has served the Fort Worth community for the past 15 years by empowering Latinas through leadership development, community service, and advocacy. Now therefore, the city of Fort Worth does hereby proclaim and celebrate Maná de North Texas' 15th anniversary. Do you want to say a few words before we take pictures?
Good evening, Mayor Parker, council members. On behalf of Maná de North Texas, I would like to thank you for recognizing our 15 years of service in the Fort Worth community. Even though we are small, we are mighty. We were selected Chapter of the Year in 2017 and 2022 by our national board, and we are extremely proud to say that we have our largest group of hermanitas or mentees and madrinas or mentors. We hope to continue to grow and serve the Fort Worth community for many more years. Thank you for your support.
Next up, we have a presentation of Certificate of Recognition to Fierce Beauties with Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for this opportunity to recognize some amazing young ladies. Fierce Beauties have been a great supporter in our District 6 community of a number of community service events, and have even participated in some of our events as a district office, participating in garden cleanups and litter day. This league has worked so hard, not only on the field as the Fierce Beauties League, football league, but also off the field, not only in the classroom, but also in community through acts of kindness and service. And so I've been totally inspired by this league and thought it appropriate and fitting to bring these ladies to City Hall and recognize them for their amazing work. So Before I yield the floor, I just want to read this recognition. This certificate hereby recognizes the Fierce Beauties Football League for their dedication and commitment to encourage young female athletes to expand their physical horizons and break down stereotypes. This organization promotes positive youth development in young female athletes by fostering their leadership skills and nurturing their self-confidence. This organization has a deep commitment to serving our community. Our office hereby recognizes and commends the Fierce Beauties Football League for their community service across the district, including the recent District 6 Garden Day cleanup and Litter Day events. This certificate is presented to Fierce Beauties Football League in recognition of their leadership and positive youth development on this 17th day of October 23. Thank y'all so much for all the work that y'all do. I'm so proud. I'm only keeping this seat warm for one of y'all, but it's already all of our seat. So thank y'all for what y'all do in our community, and good luck this season. Marissa, would you like to say a few words?
I want to thank you so much, Dr. Williams, and the city of Fort Worth for seeing our vision and allowing us to transpire. It's very important for us to get back. You know, I'm from the community. Jackie Carton, Crowley Middle School, North Crowley. We graduated from North Crowley together. Both of us exited in sports, so it's actually not surprising to see him in this position, to be honest. But I want to thank you so much for shedding a light on our program and allowing our girls to give back. It means so much to us, and we're going to keep supporting the city and keep transpiring as well. Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming. Our next presentation is a certificate of recognition to the Fort Worth Metropolitan Black Chamber of Commerce, and I believe that Councilmember Nettles is going to present this recognition.
Yes.
Got lots of special guests, I think, Chris.
We
Here they
do.
come.
Down, all those that are here, come on down to the podium. I'm going to have a few remarks before I come down and join you guys. We want to welcome you to the City of Fort Worth Chamber. Thank you so much. This award tonight is, this recognition is about an award that the Black Chamber has received. And there was a lot of questions that went on when our beloved Dee Jennings passed away. What is the Black Chamber going to do? And when I tell you that this Black Chamber regrouped, brought in a phenomenal woman to lead this chamber, and this chamber is not only thriving, but growing astronomically. And tonight, we get to honor the work that you guys have continued to do. And so what you have done is took it statewide and have let Texas know that we're doing something here in Fort Worth. And so with that, I'm going to come down and read this certificate of recognition to the Black Chamber.
Michelle, this is when you were supposed to sing. You didn't know that? You didn't get the memo?
I'm going to read this recognition, then give it to Michelle and let her introduce some of the guests that are here with her certificate of recognition. The City of Fort Worth hereby recognize Fort Worth Metropolitan Black Chamber of Commerce. At its 35th annual conference this month, the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce presented its first Chamber of the Year award to the Fort Worth Metropolitan Black Chamber of Commerce. It was deemed most fitting since the Chamber of the Year award is now named for the late DeVore D. Jennings, who was the president and CEO of the Fort Worth Black Chamber for more than 30 years. Jennings passed away in 2021. Charles O'Neill, president of the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce noted that the Fort Worth Black Chamber incredibly achievements over the past year with its economic development initiatives, tremendous increase in membership, and an overwhelming increase in corporate sponsors. And we see one behind us. Also pointed out that 3 other awards presented that evening went to individuals who work close ties with the chamber, reaffirming that the Fort Worth group has having a significant impact in the community. Out of 30 Black chambers in the state of Texas, we are honored to be the first recipient of the Void Jennings Chamber of the Year Award, said Fort Worth Black Metropolitan Chamber President and CEO Michelle Green Ford. We are especially grateful because it is named for one of our most esteemed leaders. I commend, and the city of Fort Worth commend, Fort Worth Metropolitan Black Chamber of Commerce for its incredible year and for achieving this award. I wish them continued success. These kinds of achievements affirm why Fort Worth is the best place to live, work, and grow a family. This certificate is presented to Fort Worth Metropolitan Black Chamber of Commerce on the 17th day of October 2020.
All right, I don't have much to say, but I'm honored. And I want to thank the city of Fort Worth, who is an esteemed partner for the chamber. As we're recognized in the state of Texas, one of the things that's really different in our city is that we get support from the city of Fort Worth in so many ways. We work hand in hand with our council members, and so many of you have stood with us in so many projects to help businesses grow. And so we're thankful for that partnership, and we want to continue that. I have with me some names. I just want to mention our chairperson, Sharon Douglas. Our vice chair is Andre McEwen is here. We also have Monique Winfrey, who everybody knows from Chase Bank, a real pillar in the chamber. I have Tia, also Miss Tia Cole, and she is awesome in developing the next group of leaders with the Cole Lab, and so we work together. I have Bridget also with us, Bridget Davis from our advisory board. We started an advisory board for the first time this year. Charlie Powell from Sierra Bank, wow, worked for years and years and years for the chamber before I even came, and whom I worked with at JPS Health Network as well. So Charlie's here, and I'm doing this with my memory. You notice I'm not looking back. I said, who else is there? Oh my goodness. Bob Ray Sanders, the rock of the chamber, a person who served so tirelessly over the years. I will tell you that him staying at the chamber has been a real pillar for us to grow on. All right, did I miss anybody? Who did I miss? We got everybody? Awesome. Well, thank you guys again. We appreciate it and look forward to awesome work going forward. We've only just begun. Thank you.
Next will be items to be withdrawn from the consent agenda.
There are no items to be withdrawn from the consent agenda.
Items to be continued or withdrawn by staff.
Resolution that is being withdrawn, that's Resolution 23-0579. And in its place, council will be asked to consider a revised resolution, that's 23-0579R. And zoning ZC 23-066 will be continued to October 31st.
Mayor, that gets us to the consent agenda speakers.
Thank you, Jeanette. We have two speakers on the consent agenda. The first is Adrian Smith by phone, followed by David Martinez.
Yes, Adrian Smith. I am one with the people. MMC 230883. For those of you all within the chambers who have documentation to follow along, and to the media who is holding accountability, hopefully holding accountability to this council. Authorization of execution of a settlement agreement with Sonagro of Texas CDR Incorporated in the amount of $1,858,157.65 for additional costs related to operation of the biosledge dryer facility. This is in Council District 5. This was touted as a $59 million project when it first came about, and I did my little research. I did my research, and I noticed it's located in Moja Valley. How befitting to be located in an historic area that and I don't mean that in a kind way. But let me see. The city in a contract 2019 with said company. Have they been the best of neighbors? No. As reported in the Fort Worth, let me see. Well, we'll disregard that. But my question to Councilmember Bivens, if she's there, would you like to elaborate on what this lawsuit is, this settlement is? Because I did not see any information on the city's website when I went to investigate this information. And would you like to elaborate for those of us who are listening or watching at home, those who are in the chamber, what this lawsuit is about? Is the city paying this? Is this coming out of the city funds, or is this company paying this to the city?
Mr.
Because
Smith,
I know we have
Mr. Smith,
hold on, let me finish.
I direct you to the city attorney. It is unfortunate that you don't know the details, but our city attorney can respond to you. I encourage you to email her.
Well, ma'am, the city website should provide that information. So I guess I would have to just do a FOIA request and see what it is, because it sounds like it's a lawsuit money you all are paying out to this said company. So thank you for those words. And before I go back into the queue, I just want people to know that the Palestinian people have a right to existence as well. So Israel is just reaping the evil.
We're not doing this tonight. You can go. You're done. Thank you. Our next speaker is David Martinez. And Mr. Martinez, I know you signed up on a few items. I'm going to read those off for clarity for the audience. They kind of know. You come on down. You're good. The first is on MNC 23-0843, which pertained to making a technical correction to police department staffing and the ranking of the president of the Fort Worth Police Association. The second is MNC 23-0843. Which actually is in the same item, so disregard that. 23-0844, in support of the Public Art Annual Work Plan. 23-0844, these are listing twice, sorry about that. And then the last has to do with a grant for the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA. So some clarification on those items. You have 3 minutes. Thank you, sir.
Do I have to speak on all three of them?
It's 3 total. I was just kind of making clarification because you signed up on several. Thank you.
Yes. I'm here not to complain. I'm here to congratulate City of Fort Worth on doing a great job with the Fort Worth PD today in Carter Park Neighborhood Association. We saw a lot of work done, and there was a raid on the motel, Daisy Motel in the Alpha Seminary and I-35. And thanks to Councilwoman Martinez for helping us out and doing all she can to help us out right now, what we're going through right now. And I want to thank all the officers that were involved with that, and thank your families also for letting us have y'all and what y'all do for our families and my children. Also want to thank the fire department and everything. Thanks for everything that they do and everything. So that's what I'm here to say. Thank you. Okay, not complaining today.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Anything, you've got some time remaining, anything on the public art plan you needed to address, or you're good there? Okay.
And I will be going to the Fort Worth art meetings and everything like that, and helping out with our Southside community and Native American and Hispanic indigenous people helping with the artwork and everything, and making it inclusive and everything with our community. And I second or whatever with the funding and everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Council, that's the last of our speakers on the consent agenda. Entertain a motion. Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item will be upcoming and recent events and recognition of citizens by council.
Thank you. Our first up is Councilmember Carlos Flores.
Thank you, Mayor. Then we have a slideshow presentation. Start off with that. Every now and then, council members need to do fun things, and I certainly had my fill of a lot of great tacos. We had a countdown taco showdown at the River Ranch in the Stockyards, and I was one of the judges. Had to go through 2 rounds of tasting, and I think I tasted, what was it? At least 47 tacos, believe it or not. I didn't eat all of them, okay, but I ate a pretty good majority, and it shows, I think. But anyways, a lot of fun. The grand prize winner was Wapo Taco. Made a great taco, but there were a lot of good entries. Yeah, Michael Crane here endorses Wapo Taco. All right, next slide, please. All right, National Night Out. A lot of council members had events going on in their districts. District 2 had some really good events going on. I was really impressed with the National Night Outs that were happening over at Sabine Place Apartments and also Casa Esperanza. And I want to thank all our neighbors, Fort Worth Police Department, Fort Worth Fire Department, MedStar, Code Blue volunteers, and Dot Kent, our crime prevention specialist, for getting all that together, making it a success. Thank you. Next slide. On the school front, A.V. Cato Elementary over in Castleberry ISD. They celebrated World Teachers Appreciation Day, and my office provided lunch for them, just a small token of appreciation. They have about 70 teachers, 600 students, and it's the fastest growing school in Castleberry ISD. So thanks to them for a great job doing it there, Superintendent Faulkner Smith and Principal Meredith Strambler. Next slide, please. All right, Texas Municipal League, several of us popped in and participated in TML. I took advantage of some of the sessions. I think they're very helpful, and we can certainly learn from our counterparts on how to resolve municipal problems. Next slide, please. Gringo Boots celebrated their partnership with Joan Katz Resource Center. This is in observance of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so Old Gringo launched 4 new boot styles at this event. 10% of those proceeds donated go to the Joan Katz Resource Center. So thank you for them for doing that. All right, October 8th, PBR, Camping World Team Series. We're rooting for the home team, the Texas Rattlers. And I was a bit surprised and honored to be given the Be Cowboy Award, which recognizes those that live the cowboy life and embody cowboy code of toughness, courage, respect, determination, patriotism, all those that many of us do embody, and was very humbled to receive that. So thanks to Chad Blankenship of the Texas Rattlers for conferring that honor on me. Next slide. The Police Foundation dinner. Mayor, you were there along with council members Blaylock and Crane, and I celebrated again what the foundation does to support our men and women in blue. Next slide. October 14th, just this past weekend, attended the Chorizo Menudo Forum, listening to State Representative Ramon Romero. Our own Councilwoman Elizabeth Beck was there, talked about the budget, and we had a candidate for U.S. Senate, State Senator Roland Gutierrez, who also spoke. So it was a good turnout. Appreciate all the speakers that were there. All right, and then October 15th, I think it was, we enjoyed the first ever Ultimate Bull Riders Fiesta del Toro in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month. It was the first event of its kind there at Cowtown Coliseum. The best way to describe it is this: if you imagine acrobats and combine that with bullfighting, that's what it's about. It's really impressive seeing them try to jump bulls, and sometimes the bull got the better end of them, but it was a lot of fun. They anticipated about 800 in attendance, and they cleared that very handedly with 1,100 that came to the event. So expect to see more of that. All right, in terms of announcements, we have a community open house that's happening Thursday, October 19th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Northside Community Center at 1100 Northwest 18th Street. And it's a come-as-you-go event. We're going to share concerns on a myriad of topics. We're going to have not just PD there, crime prevention. We're going to have city departments like TPW, like neighborhood services, et cetera. They're just one-stop shop to get everyone's concerns answered. And if they want to get more information, that's the best way to get it. Next slide. Join us for the 4th annual Trick or Treat at the museum. And this museum that I'm referring to is the Fort Worth Aviation Museum. You can wear a costume and get free admission. You can have a treat bag and get that filled, by the staff. And they're going to have a variety of activities there, very family-friendly event. And it's a lot of fun, so come on out to the Fort Worth Aviation Museum. And then the 20th anniversary, Dia de los Muertos in Fort Worth. It's a celebration of Hispanic culture, and we're going to have a parade Saturday, October 28th. And it starts at 10 a.m., beginning at North Main Street and Central Avenue. And festival following from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. I think all the council's invited. I think Councilwoman Beck said that she was going to be there, so it's a lot of fun. Go see it. It's a wonderful event. And, a couple more, sorry. Trunk or Treat, Sunday, October 20th, from 12 to 5 p.m. That's at the North Tri-Ethnic Community Center. And you can go, and it's also funded, I should say, by the Lowrider Council. They're very collaborative, and you do a lot of great things for the community. There's a costume contest that's happening at 3 p.m. There are cash prizes involved, so coming out to the North Tri Community Center. And the last announcement, the North Fort Worth Historical Society has their 17th annual Saints and Sinners Tour. If you haven't been on this tour, go see it. It's at Oakwood Cemetery. It's one of 2 cemeteries that are historic, and they have their designation. It's at 701 Grand Avenue. And these tours where you have the volunteers from the museum dress up in period costumes, and they not only tell you about Fort Worth's famous and infamous that are interned there at Oakwood Cemetery, but they actually act the characters out. So it's really engaging, a lot of fun. Go out and see it, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Carlos. Next is Councilmember Larsdorf.
All right, so on November 9th, we're going to be having our District 4 Town Hall at Fossil Ridge High School. We're going to have quite a few folks from the city coming out to speak about what's going on in District 4, some upcoming projects. That's going to go from 6 to 8 p.m. It is the day before the Marine Corps birthday, so we will have some cake. We were going to bring kegs, but attorney said we probably should not do that, so I apologize in advance. Don't have a slide for it, but a few days ago, I was able to attend the Greater Fort Worth Builders Association Municipal Award Night, where our Fort Worth's own DJ Harrell won the Director of Development Services, was awarded the Spirit of Cooperation Award because of all the work that he and his staff do, not just in District 4, but across all Fort Worth. So it was an honor to attend to honor him that night. So that's all I have.
Thanks, Charlie. Next up is Councilmember Bivens.
Thank you, Mayor, and congratulations, Carlos, on that award that you won. Well deserved. I'm still kind of blurry-eyed from Councilmember Beck's presentation, but I had the honor of going to Key School. And if you see that pink dress, I've worn that pink dress a lot because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But at Key School, you should know Key started out as an after-school and summer program focusing on tutoring for dyslexic students. That's their sweet spot. School leaders assist the students with learning differences through small classes and individually tailored instructions. Each of those students gave me their testimonial about how special being at Key School is. And so that was pretty neat. The book I read was written and, illustrated by 2 dyslexic professionals. So if you know anyone who needs help or a child who is dyslexic and not feeling comfortable in the public school setting, that's on the east side of Fort Worth. I'd suggest you check them out. Next, in 2024, the mayor knows this, we're going to be bringing a lot of sports activities to the region. And I say the region because we will have people here for World Cup. We'll have people for the All-Star Game. And who you see pictured there with me, though, that group of people, we've got Bob Matwick. He's the head of operations for the Texas Rangers. Monica Paul, the executive director of the Dallas Sports Commission. Carla Windsor with the North Central Texas Council of Governments, and Lieutenant Commander Husky at the JRB. The whole point was to let these people know that transportation during this time is very important. And this body where we were represents 14 county leaders, county judges, and we're working on roads to make sure they can navigate this area when they come in 2024. I'm sure some remember the Super Bowl that we got snowed out, but people still manage. And so we're planning ahead with the Regional Transportation Council. And next, I think I got a lot of cops, yeah. I am so excited about the turnout of people who showed up to learn about crime prevention. Our expert, Steve Kanister, provided the prelude to a formal meeting, just letting people know why they really need to get involved. Now, we had seasoned neighborhood presidents attending to support the new people, but I want you to see who was really in charge. Everybody sees Sandy there with the yellow on. We didn't plan, but that's me with yellow. Our newest deputy chief, Monica Martin, and our new commander for the East Side. This whole thing was facilitated by Sunshine, on the line with Sunshine from Brother Joe Bagby. In the center picture, Sandy kept us all on track, and muscle man Josh Rivers brought the water. Thank you, Josh. And the next one we have deals with transportation again. I hate you can't see that, but I've got it on my Facebook page. We are really trying to get things together when it comes to transportation. There are 3 meetings, one's already taken place this afternoon, but we're focusing on the Lancaster corridor, if you will. And so I want people to have credible information from people who are either from the city of Fort Worth, the Trinity Metro team, the Council of Governments, and TxDOT. Because what we plan on focusing on is Lancaster, which is a state highway, which is owned by the state. And so if you're interested in attending tomorrow night's meeting, it is going to start at 4:30 at the Handley Recreation Center. Everybody knows that's on Beatty. Thursday's 4:30 meeting at the East Regional Library takes place at 6301 Bridge. So don't just listen to everybody you see at the bar when we're at the football game watching. These are experts who can tell you what those plans are. Mayor, thank you for the time.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilmember Hill.
This is a picture from my tour of the Fort Worth Nature Center and Refuge in late September, and I actually was there again last night for our walking town hall for District 7. We had a great turnout for that. This is a wonderful natural park within Fort Worth, situated on Lake Worth. If you have not been there, I would encourage you to take the time and go out there. The Nature Center has won several awards for its wetlands, forestry, and prairie conservation. They also have a bison herd with a beautiful new bison viewing deck. Fort Worth is one of the very few cities in the nation that can say they have over 3,600 acres of green space dedicated to preserving the natural lands. Next. And then National Night Out, as many of us did on October the 3rd. I had the pleasure of visiting with several neighborhoods in my district, including Crestwood Neighborhood Association, the Landing Homeowners Association, Harbor Point, Bonds Ranch Road. I want to thank all of those neighborhood associations and homeowners groups for your hospitality and engagement in the community. And thank you to the Fort Worth Police Department and the Fort Worth Fire Departments for coming out that evening as well. Next. On Wednesday night, we held the public meeting for 1300 Gindy Street. 2 proposals were presented. Once the selection committee receives public comments, they will proceed with finalizing a winning proposal. Then there will be a series of public meetings to follow that that will gain further input from stakeholders throughout the community. And then that project will come before City Council after that is completed. And lastly, as we learned tonight, Fire Station 18 is celebrating its 100th anniversary. Arlington Heights and Crestwood Neighborhood Associations are hosting a birthday party to celebrate the oldest and most historic fire station in Fort Worth. I hope that y'all will join me on Sunday, October the 22nd from 3:30 to 7 p.m. And if you need additional information on where that's exactly located, please feel free to reach out to my office. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Hill. Councilmember Nettles.
Thank you, Mayor. Our first slide shows the South Point and United Black Contractors, and I did a combined job fair about the works that's coming to the Southeast Quarter, and I'm pleased to announce that we did have a direct hire on that day, as well as 5 to 7 who was in the pipeline to get hired. So getting people work in Southeast Fort Worth. Next slide, please, is our neighborhood national night out. I think there's a couple of them. We had the opportunity to go to the Light of Word Church, Greater Progressive Church of God in Christ, Historical Southside, Meadow Creek Neighborhood Association, Matador Ranch, next slide, Glencrest Civic League, and Highland Hills. And so we had right there, we had a great time meeting and talking with our officers, NPO officers, and our neighborhoods. Next slide. Harambe Festival was a great day. The weather was good. A lot of people out in the neighborhood. Next slide. During the Harambe Festival, they pulled me to the side and wanted me to get my blood pressure checked for some pictures. My blood pressure was high and they started lecturing me, and I said, I just did this for pictures. Thank you. We had a great time there. Friday night was the blues night. I did a little dancing. Saturday night was the festival and parade, so it was a great event. Next slide. Trinity Habitat groundbreaking for Dr. Opalee Home. It was a fantastic event. It brought back memories for Dr. Opalee. Had several council members there, Mark Vesey, Commissioner Brooks, Nicole Collier. Had the opportunity where her house was burnt down by the mob. Trinity Habitat donated it back to her for them to build a house on that location where she can move back, where she have to move out. And so it's gonna be phenomenal. So it was a great day being there. Next slide, please. The I Am Terra Fall Festival had opportunity. My kids, they were out of school for the fall break. I wish I had that when I was in school, but they worked with me that day. Went to this event at I Am Terra. It was a great event. Next slide. UGM Community Outreach Center dedication. Again, so much work is going in on the east side quarter. And so a couple of council members, the mayor spoke greatly. Also, I learned that he's retiring after 30 plus years. And so we wishing him well as they get ready to find a new CEO and president for UGM. But it was a great event. Next slide. United Black Contractors Annual Dinner. Had the opportunity to talk about our city and getting contracts as well as getting Black African Americans in the process. And so Tammy Pierce event, Steve Montgomery was there, the Black Chamber, Fort Worth Chamber, a lot of representatives, Southeast Fort Worth. We had some of our individuals here from the city of Fort Worth, and so it was a great event. Next slide. Highland Hills Pink Day event honoring breast cancer in Highland Hills. Again, the weather was good. Officer Gilbert is doing a fantastic job over there in that quarter. One day I want to recognize him in the near future. He has really been doing the work for our police department, NPO, in Highland Hills and Everman and surrounding areas. Next slide. The Tay Day Parade in memory of Tatiana Jefferson's parade was also the same day. We walked down Evans Avenue. Well, I was actually on the golf cart. I got it at the very end and walked. But it was a great event. And so honoring her life and walking to the Tatiana Jefferson Carr Community Center at Hillside. Next slide. The gala was on Sunday. The Office of Police Monitors office was there in support of the gala. It was a beautiful event. Those of you that watched BET back in the day, Free from 106 in Parks was the guest speaker. So she was there. Zion is in the picture. He was in good spirits. And I continue prayers for both of them, the kids, and the sister, Ashley, who remains and taking care of the two nephews. Next slide. The Center for Transforming Lives groundbreaking. Again, a fantastic a center that's going to come and take care of our women and children in Southeast Fort Worth. And I tell you, it's at a pivotal moment in 76104. In the lowest life expectancy, they're going to change the directory of that area. And so I'm grateful for what's happening. Had the support of Mayor from day one, Commissioner Brooks, and we got the deal done, and there will be moving in soon. Next slide. We're going to have a town hall. We have it every year. And so, Charlie, I Chief Noakes on the record said I had the most people at all my town halls, so I'm challenging you. Chief Noakes, it's on record. It's on record. Chief Noakes said it. And so y'all come out October 26, 2023. I need everyone to come, even if you live in District 5 or 8, so you can come. We're gonna be talking about what can happen in the city of Fort Worth. Next slide. Warrant forgiveness event. We do this in all the districts. We're gonna be doing it at Pilgrim Valley Missionary Baptist Church, 4800 South Riverside. This is not a time where you get arrested. We're trying to help you. So if you know anyone, literally, it's not a trick. This is really happening. So if you have warrants, we'll teach you how they can be forgiven. I mean, it's not a trick. Okay, next slide. William McDonald Fall Festival, October 28th from 6 to 9. I believe that's it. I got cotton mouth, so thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Chris. Councilmember Beck.
All right, first up, if you've driven down Jones lately, you've noticed that there's a big red bus lane. We are trying something new. We're one of very few cities in the nation that have done this, and hopefully will improve our transit system and make our pedestrians and bikes safer. So we quite literally painted the town red. Next slide. All right, many of y'all know that we had a really fun ribbon cutting for our Bearcat, our SWAT storage vehicles. So I appreciate everyone coming out to District 9 and viewing the Bearcat barn. Next slide. We have, I left that part out. Recovery in the Park, it was their 10th year to do this, and this is really, it's an organization that supports mental health professionals in the recovery space, and so it's really important work they do here in the city, and so as always, really a joy to get out there and support them. Next slide. All right, we've got a round of photos from National Night Out. We were able to hit 7 different neighborhood associations, so we were tired. Our team did a great job, and so did all of our neighborhoods for putting on some really fantastic events. Next slide. I've had the opportunity to sit down and address the Real Estate Council about what's happening here in the city, and I'm grateful to have them as partners as we move forward in making Fort Worth a better place to live. Next slide. All right, Day of the Girl. I was joined by Mayor Parker and Councilmember Martinez, as well as some other folks from the city and council to really help support the girls here in our community and make sure that we are showing that organization that they are loved and supported, and we'd like to keep them around forever here in Tarrant County. Okay, so that's what I did. What you've got coming up in District 9. Oh, no, I'm missing one. Okay, so you heard Councilman Flores plug his Sinners and Saints tour, and on the pictured on the right are Sinners and Saints. I'll let you decide which are who or what, but 2 of the 3 of those women are actually characters in the Sinners or Saints tours. So I'd highly recommend you go out. They were telling me about it. It sounds like a real fun event. All right, next slide. All right, this is what's coming up. If you don't have any plans this weekend, I would highly recommend you get out to Arts Goggle. If you do have plans this weekend, I would recommend you cancel them and head on out Saturday. It's going to be a great event, as always. Next slide. All right, TCC is having an event for Constitution Day at their South Campus. I will be, yours truly will be there, and it's a public event, so I'd encourage you all to come and participate in that. All right, up next, we have the Queer Professionals Network. It is a group that is newly formed to give our LGBT professional community a place to come together and network. So if you or anyone you know might be interested in joining that group, they've got a meeting coming up at Hotel Dreiss on October 26th. And last but certainly not least, October 28th, we will be having the Firefighters Chili Cook-Off in General Worth Square. If you are in the mood for some really great chili and some heartburn later, I would highly recommend you head on down and check that out. And that's all I got.
Councilmember Blaylock.
Thank you, Mayor. So we had our first ever district town hall at the end of September, and Councilman Lauersdorf and Councilman Nettles, I will just say the bar is now set at just under 200 participants. Our turnout was fantastic. I hope y'all can beat it in your districts. We had a great message from Mayor Parker to start the session, and then we had presentations from City Manager Cook, from Assistant Chief Sparrow, from Fire Chief Davis, from TPW Director Lauren Prier, and more. It was a great evening, very informative and well received by the community. Next slide. So after that, I led the delegation for Fort Worth Sister Cities International to Nagaoka, Japan. Fort Worth Sister Cities is an organization that exchanges cultural and civic ideas between the two cities. Nagaoka, Japan is one of our oldest relationships, nearly 37 years old now. Our first delegation was led by Mayor Bob Bolin, so I feel really privileged to follow in those footsteps. Fort Worth Sister Cities, the other great thing they do is youth exchanges between each of our sister cities. And in this particular case of Japan, Mr. Hara of Harshin Grocery Stores, which is similar to HEB here, actually funds a scholarship, and he pays for 10 citizens from the U.S. to go every year, 10 of our youth, and for 10 to come here. He's done this for over 30 years, and it's a tremendous gift and a tremendous blessing for those youth that get to participate. I encourage anyone that's high school age, has a high school age child to look into participating with Sister Cities. Next slide. So we have two upcoming events. The first is a North Fort Worth Alliance meeting this Saturday at 9 a.m. We'll be talking about construction projects on Highway 170, new proposed developments in the north, and completion dates for North Beach Street, north of 170. And we'll also have, a week from Saturday, our Fort Worth Police Department's North Division's Community Safety Fair. That'll be in the morning as well. I encourage you to come out to both of those events. Next slide. Lastly, we have the new Far Northwest Library. There's still time to participate in the survey saying what you as a resident would like for that library to include. There's a QR code, scan it, do the survey, much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, and Councilmember Martinez.
Okay, so I will be starting out with the East Echo Heights open house that we had on September 28th, where we presented changes to the comprehensive plan. We had several neighbors come out and take a look at those, and so that input will be implemented in the next Echo Heights open house that we're going to have later this month, and you'll see a flyer here in a minute. I had the pleasure of participating in the Young Women's Leadership Academy, their Hispanic Heritage event, Finding Your Voice, where they invited 3 Latina representatives to speak on a panel, and that was hosted by the LULAC Youth Council, the Spanish Club, and the Hispanic Honor Society. So it was a wonderful evening of hearing all of our stories. I also was able to participate in the Eastern Hills High School Homecoming Parade as a Grand Marshal on September 29th. And that night, Eastern Hills beat Diamond Hill Jarvis 54-0. So Carlos. On September 30th, the Jordan Elizabeth Harris Foundation hosted a Speak Life community blog. Sorry, that was still the back of the, okay. Speak Life community block party, where they invited the community to hear about raising awareness on depression and suicide. So it was a really great event. Councilmember Nettles was there as well. And next slide, please. On October 2nd, I met with a group of parents at the Rocket Ship Dennis Duncan's elementary school, and so we had some good conversation on some important issues that they wanted to discuss. I also participated in National Night Out on October 3rd. I was able to visit 5 neighborhoods that included Greenway, Riverside, Oakhurst, Meadowbrook, and Eastern Hills. So it was a great night. On October 5th, I was able to speak at the Mercy Clinic fundraiser dinner that they had. So if you don't know who Mercy Clinic is, they provide medical and dental services to uninsured individuals that live in zip code 76110, 76104. So if you'd like to share that with anybody that you know. And on October 7th, I was able to kick off the Race on Race Street that was organized by PT Fitness, a business off Race Street. And that event was able to help support 4 local nonprofits that included Alliance for Children, Hope Farm, Cook Children's, and Pancreatic Cancer Action Network. So I ran half a mile and then walked the other half back. And then from there, I went to Carnaval de Salud, which is a Hispanic Wellness Coalition event. It's a health fair for all ages, and they had about 900 attendees that day. I also checked my blood pressure, and it was a little high, but it was probably that mile that I ran and walked. So next slide, please. On October 13th, as you heard from Councilmember Beck, I was able to participate in Day of the Girl. I brought my daughter with me, Bella, who is also a Girls Inc. participant, and so it was a really wonderful event to help support Girls Inc. of Tarrant County. And on October 13th, I participated in the Victory Forest Fall Festival. So it was a really great event where the entire community was invited, and we got to meet our firefighters and our police department representatives that were there that day. And on October 24th, I participated in 3 Litter Stomp Day events. So we had a Litter Stomp Day event in District 11 in Rosemont, Meadowbrook, and Carter Park, and I believe there was another event at Gateway that I wasn't able to make. And then I want to congratulate the Riverside Arts District. They had a really great art all-night event on that evening, and so that's me with one of the businesses that was handing out free corn on the cob. It was really great. Next slide, please. So announcements, the Worth Heights Community Center is having a fall festival on Saturday, October 21st. So after Arts Goggle, I think, or before, you can swing by this free fall festival. Next slide. And then we will have our second Echo Heights open house event on October 26th, where folks will come and see those changes that we made from the first Echo Heights open house meeting and open to hear additional suggestions. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Presentations.
Mayor, next will be speakers on the non-consent agenda
Thank you.
items.
I'll take these and try to group them together based on what they're speaking on. The first group is speaking on resolution adopting the Fort Worth Neighborhood Conservation Plan and Housing Affordability Strategy. First speaker is Christine Panagopoulos, followed by Wesley Kirk, and then Michelle Kennedy. Perfect. Wesley Kirk, and then Michelle can go. Thank you, Wesley.
My name is Wesley Kirk. I live in District 7, and I'm here to speak in support of the resolution for affordable housing. It's a step in the right direction, but it's only a tiny step. I urge you all to take a big, bold leap in doing everything in your power to shape the laws in the city in favor of building more housing, more variety in housing stock, and more incentives for that housing to naturally be affordable. Right now, if someone wants to worsen the unaffordability crisis, there are too few rules in place to stop them. They can buy what is meant to be a starter house, tear it down, and build an enormous mansion with no backyard, destroying the character of the neighborhood, raising the property values of everyone nearby to an unreasonable degree, and pricing those out of the neighborhood who've lived there for decades. But if someone wanted to try and help solve the unaffordability crisis, then they would have to jump through hoops, work their way through red tape, and push through roadblocks at every step to create anything that isn't just large, expensive single-family houses or giant luxury apartment complexes. We need to make it easier for people to do the right thing and for them to provide the variety in housing that people are looking for. We need backyard apartments for seniors on fixed income who can no longer afford their property taxes and want to live with caretakers while still retaining some independence. We need duplexes so that young people can have places where they can afford to start families. We need to have live workspaces for artists and entrepreneurs. We need to have above garage apartments for students kicking off their new lives as adults. We need courtyard houses so that intergenerational families can live together and look after one another. For this city to continue thriving, we need to provide more housing that match how people want to live where they want to live. Otherwise, where will everyone go? When we convince corporations to move here, where are their employees supposed to live? When our parents grow old and need someone to look after them, where are they supposed to live? When your children are ready to leave the nest but can't afford even the tiniest apartment, where are they supposed to live? The answer isn't to keep spreading out further and farther. People are desperate to live near the urban core. The answer isn't to leave it up to the market. The market has already failed us. The answer is to get smarter with how we use the land that we have now and make it easy to provide what people are desperate for. We need this and more, and we need it now. And also, every time this subject comes up, please keep in mind who is not in the room, whose voices aren't being heard, and why. There are countless people who care deeply about this issue and urgently want to see it fixed, but they are too busy working, struggling to make ends meet because they are so deeply overburdened by how unaffordable it is to live here. Please use your power and resources to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Wesley. Our next speaker is Michelle Kennedy, followed by Ann Zeta.
Good evening. I'm Michelle Kennedy. I am the Senior Director of Advocacy and Government Relations for Trinity Habitat for Humanity. Thank you guys for allowing me to be here tonight. I'm supposed to give my address, 9333 North Normandale Street, Fort Worth, 76116. Thank you, Mayor Parker and Council, for giving us the opportunity to speak in support of adopting the Fort Worth Neighborhood Conservation Plan and Housing Affordability Strategy. The neighborhood services staff have worked long and hard with the consultants and the community to create this plan. The information speaks for itself. We have an affordability crisis in Fort Worth. Our latest appraisals on Habitat houses came back at $230,000. The gentleman who spoke before me talked about diversity. I had a lot of notes I was going to read. Just going to go off script for just a moment. We have worked hard as an affordable homeownership provider. We have been creative. We've diversified our product. We have done everything that has been asked of us by the city, by council, by the communities. And yet we still find ourselves up against a wall when it comes to affordability. And it's time for the city council to do something, to come alongside us as providers in the community, working to keep an affordable homeownership option available to our residents. It's time for you guys to come alongside of us and do something about it. And this plan provides that opportunity. It's a good plan. It's got great recommendations. I do believe many of you received a letter from many of us today, an email from many of us who worked collectively to talk about our priorities as those of us who are doing the work and what we see. And what we need right now is we need policy and money, honestly. We need funding and policy to wrap around this plan, or it's going to go on the shelf like the previous plans have. And we need something that's going to outlive you guys and your time on the council and me and Habitat and my time at Habitat, which, trust me, is not much longer, which will show this community that there is a place for affordability. There is a place for homeownership. We are going to work hard to keep a place for our essential workers to have an option in our community, because it's important that all people in Fort Worth have an option to an affordable housing product. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle. Our next speaker is Ann Zeta.
My name is Ann Zeta. I live in District 9, 3408 Harwin Terrace. I didn't prepare myself as well as I did last time, but you all have the comments that I made the last time that this came before you, and those still stand today. In addition, I've signed on with the letter that you received today from many of the affordable housing providers and others in the community that are very passionate and have done a lot of work in our community around this issue. So I'm just here again to encourage you to adopt this plan and then make the next steps that are so very important to make sure that plans don't just sit on a shelf, but actually are implemented in our community. And we will continue to work with you in any way that we possibly can to make sure that those things happen going forward. And many of the comments that were said by the first two speakers, I also agree with completely. So I won't take up any more of your time, and I just appreciate it and want to make sure that the voices are heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. Council, our next speakers are on different items. The first is Adrian Smith by phone pertaining to approving a waiver of transportation impact fees located at 840 and 1000 Oak Grove Road in Fort Worth for Palladium Oak Grove Development.
Mr. Smith?
I'm here. Hey, hey, hey. Even though the mayor told me I was gone. So this is in District 9, and I would like to ask if Ms. Beck would speak to this particular item, considering that we know that developers, they already receive a hefty dose of tax abatements from the city as it relates to developments that they bring to the city. And we know everybody always disguise what they're doing under the guise of affordability, which I'm thankful for the voices there tonight speaking as it relates to affordability, as it relates to housing. Now, what is this saying? Because it says approved waiver to transport impact fees estimated at $494,100 for the Palladium Oak Grove development, blah, blah, blah. It serves, this is the part I want to get to. It serves a public purpose.
Adrian,
So what?
Adrian, it's Councilwoman Beck. You asked me to speak on this, and just so you know, we're waiving those impact fees.
I wasn't through, ma'am.
Yeah. Well, I think we can. I think we could probably give you an answer, and so then we don't have to go through what all of this nonsense. This is an affordable housing project, and so I appreciate your support and your advocacy for affordable housing, and so I appreciate your support on this particular item that is waiving transportation impact fees so that we can meet the bottom line and create more additional affordable housing right here in District 9.
Adrian,
okay, so because you know the last see, Mary, you the chair, and you all continue to interrupt my speaking while I'm speaking. I'm speaking on a agenda item. You know, you all cannot say I'm off topic.
Adrian, you asked for me to answer it.
I wasn't finished talking. It's rude to allow a person to finish what they're saying before you cut them off. That's called courtesy, okay? But you cut me off mid-sentence.
Yeah. Adrian, you
And
got
you all-
a minute and 10 seconds
you all
left.
deliberately
Keep
do this.
going.
You
Anything
all-
else on this item?
You all deliberately do this again. So you all always talk about affordability, but Ms. Beck, you stated in a previous council meeting that regardless of how you all vote when it comes to housing and quote unquote affordability, that the developers at the end of the day, they're the ones who control the market. So I think we need to have more accountability for developers and stop giving out these freebies as it relates to tax abatements, because you all want people to believe that you all are truly advocates for affordable housing. So, and Mayor, I have another item to speak on, and hopefully before the night is over, you will explain to me what you mean by when you tell an individual they are dumb, because you said it a lot. You seem to say it a lot to not just myself, but other individuals. So hopefully tonight we can get a...
Adrian, you got 7 seconds left. I'm going to let you finish. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't think I have to explain. It was incredibly inconsiderate as members of our Jewish community sat in the audience for you to start professing your support for Palestine and Hamas at the same time. So I'll leave that there. On this item, just for clarification, Councilmember Beck already touched on this. This is an affordable housing project, and but for these waiver of fees, this project would not have worked. So I just really want to thank our city departments that worked with Palladium and Councilmember Beck on this project. It's very exciting. As already been talked about on some of these conversations around affordability, every single dollar counts. And we are very careful about waiver of fees, and we don't do it willingly. But in this situation, I think it's absolutely warranted. And again, thanks to Councilmember Beck on your leadership on that project. Next speaker is Stephen Chaco. I didn't see Mr. Chaco. Oh, he's by phone.
We have not been able to reach him.
Okay. Our next speaker then would be Ray Ojeski. And Ray is speaking pertaining to the Goldenrod development. Mr. Ojeski. Nothing? Okay. That's the last of our non-consent speakers.
The next item will be changes in memberships on boards and commissions, with the first one being appointments by the mayor.
I'm sure I have them, but I don't see them. Hold on. Thank you, dear. Okay. Council, I'd like to request your consideration to appoint the following individual with terms effective October 17th, 2023, ending October 1st, 2025. Mr. David Castles in his first term on the Building Standards Commission. The respective application is attached and a resume is provided. The original copy will be maintained by the City Secretary's office. Thank you. Got a motion and a second? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next will be appointments by District 2, Councilmember Flores.
Yes, thank you. Mayor and council, I request your consideration to reappoint the following individual to term beginning October 17th, 2023 and ending October 1st, 2024. Kathy Hamilton, this is her first full term, to the Plan Commission and Capital Improvements Plan Advisory Committee for Transportation Impact Fees. Respective applications attached and resume is on file. The original copy will be maintained in the City Secretary's office.
Motion and a second, council, please vote. Motion carries.
Next item will be appointments from District 3, Councilmember Crane.
Yes, Mayor and Council, I request your consideration to appoint the following individual with the term effective October 17th, 2023 and ending October 1st, 2025. Tom Carr, first term, the Urban Design Commission. He's actually here tonight. Where is he? Tom, wave your hand. I appreciate when any citizen steps up and wants to serve on one of these boards and commissions and bringing your expertise to it. So the respective applications attached and resume, if provided, original copy will be maintained in the City Secretary's office.
Council, please vote. Motion carries.
Next item will be appointments from District 9, Councilmember Beck.
I am requesting your consideration to reappoint Richard Call to his second term on the Pedestrian and Bicycle Advisory Commission. The respective application is attached and resume is provided as at the City Secretary's office. Move to approve.
Motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is appointments from District 10, Councilmember Blaylock.
Mayor and council, I would request your consideration to appoint Andrea Shields, Board of Adjustments Commercial and Fort Worth Alliance Board of Adjustments for a partial term effective October 17th, 2023 and ending October 1, 2024. The respective applicant's resume is attached and provided, and a copy is maintained in the City Secretary's office.
Motion, I need a second, council. Thank you. Motion, a second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next will be item 230579, which was withdrawn. So we will do 230579R.
Thank you, council. And we've had our speakers on this item already pertaining to the Fort Worth Neighborhood Conservation Plan and Housing Affordability Strategy. Motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item, council? Special thanks to Fernando Costa and our Neighborhood Services Department for getting us to this point tonight. Thank you. Motion carries.
Next will be 230806.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next will be item 230807.
Move to approve.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next will be MNC 230864 with a report by City Staff Member Diane Anderson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Diane Anderson. I'm a Neighborhood Development Coordinator in the Neighborhood Services Department. This evening on your agenda is MNC 230864 regarding the adoption of a resolution of no objection supporting a housing tax credit application by Columbia Renaissance Square 3 LP for the new construction of Columbia Renaissance Square Phase 3, a proposed multifamily affordable development to be located at 2757 Moresby Street and Council District 8. Columbia Renaissance Square 3 LP intends to submit a 4% non-competitive housing tax credit application to the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs, also known as TDHCA. In order for a 4% housing tax credit application to be submitted to TDHCA, a municipality is required to hold a public hearing for the purpose of receiving public comments on the project. Of the 100 total proposed units for the project, 55 units will be made available to households at or below 60% of the area median income. Of those, 25 units for permanent supportive housing will be set aside for households exiting homelessness. Staff has reviewed the request by Columbia Renaissance Square 3 LP and found the development is consistent with the quality affordable housing goals and priorities in the city's most recent consolidated plan. Therefore, staff recommends that after any public comments are received, the public hearing be closed and City Council take formal action to approve MC 230864 and the attached resolution of no objection for the development of Columbia Renaissance Square Phase 3. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Councilmember Nettles.
Yes, move to close the public hearing and act upon the MNC 230864 for approval.
Motion and a second. Please vote. I didn't mean to do that. I hit the wrong button. You just have to cue voting for me. And then just click in vote when they're done. And I'm a yay. I just hit the wrong button here. There it goes.
Next item is zoning case 23066, which was continued by staff to October 31st. So the next item is ZC 22-186.
Sorry, I'm steering blind here, y'all. Let me look on your agenda. Councilmember
Yes.
Flores.
Okay.
Good night.
Let's see. On this one right here, I'm going to move to approve it with a cup for a 5-year period of time. Just give a little background to council. I know that staff has had a considerable amount of conversations with the applicant and the applicant representative. Basically, it's in an older part of town. It's a pallet company there on the corner. I've talked to PD, who's had some issues with some of the larger truck traffic that's been parking there, but that's because the space on the area is restricted. So what I would like to see is the following, and Stephen, I want you to pay attention to make sure that I think I get this right. They're going to need a land use CO. So in order to do that, I know they submitted a site plan, but that site plan was deficit on a number of things. Two primary things: it needs a screening fence, and physically, it's not much of a fence there on the property. So they're going to need to have that on the site plan, erect a screening fence, then buffer yard setbacks. These are development standards that they can go ahead and meet. And again, I will approve this, issuing a cup for a period of 5 years.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion, council? Please vote. Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item will be ZC-22-194.
Thank you, council. And we do have one speaker on this item, Ryan Lincone. Hi, Ryan.
Morning.
Morning.
Oh, yeah.
Long day?
Yeah, I'm joking. Name's Ryan Lanson. I'm with Texas Capital Investment in North Texas Holdings. I'm just here to ask for the approval of the zoning change request for the property at 3621 Meadowbrook Drive. It's 76103. It was sold to me as a triplex. It's been a triplex since at least 2007, which I look back on the Google Maps as far as it goes. The city of Fort Worth Water Department recognizes it as a triplex. The electricity company, same thing, recognizes it as a triplex. And we're just looking at to keep the same triplex the same. The main building's separated into two, has a 3-bed, 1-bath, also a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and also the detached garage has been converted to a 1-bed, 1-bath. Met with Mike Phipps, which was the West Meadowbrook Home Association, Homeowners Association. We confirmed the property was a triplex. Their big concern was they thought it was a quadplex instead of a triplex. So we kind of walked him through the property and let him look around and confirm it wasn't a quadplex. We also went through and just kind of discussed ways to improve the property to benefit the community, and we're ready to implement those suggestions as soon as possible. Again, we just ask that we approve the zoning change to continue our pledge to provide low-income and affordable housing to the city of Fort Worth and its residents. So currently we have a HUD recipient and also a disabled family that was there. But yeah, basically, thank you for your time, consideration.
Thank you, Ryan. Councilmember Martinez.
So I spoke with the neighborhood association, and they were against this at this time. And I have also reached out to staff who shared that there's some code issues there that need to be corrected. So I am going to deny without prejudice and have you work on that, and then maybe you can bring this back and we'll consider it and work with the neighborhood association and see if you can get their support.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion, council? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-105.
We have no speakers on this item. Councilmember Martinez.
So this is the property that is off of Berry Street, correct? Okay, so yeah, I motion to approve.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-109.
One speaker on this item, Councilmember Martinez, Vanessa Villa. Oh yeah, only if there's opposition, which there is none, but you can come on down, Vanessa, in case you have a question. Councilmember Martinez.
I don't. My motion to approve.
There you go. Easy night for you. Motion in a second. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-110.
We have one speaker on this item, Councilmember Martinez, Angela Blockowitz. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, you're right, on the other page. Should have just had to turn it over. Angela, you're up first, followed by Loretta Snook-Wazo. That's no problem. We'll go ahead. Loretta, you want to come first? Oh, there she is. Right on cue.
Hello, my name is Angie Blockowitz, and I'm here representing the JMSL Neighborhood Association. We voted against the previous attempt at development at this location. When that request was pulled and the neighborhood was informed of the new owner's intent, we were in agreement that this space could stay a car lot, as it historically and in my lifetime has always been one. There was suggestion of denial by Councilwoman Martinez due to the intensity of car lots in the area. However, this is not a new car lot coming to Hemp Hill Street. It is simply revitalizing an existing space with the same purpose. When the zoning case was sent out, I reached out to the owners to welcome them and to get a feel for what zoning they had planned. It was discussed in depth with the Quesadas our options, and with the help of Paul from South Hemp Hill Heights, we came to an agreement that suited the owner and neighborhoods. Supporting a rezoning request under FR General Commercial with all wording removed except car lot only and no alcohol sales. This only allows auto sales to be added with this FR request, as we have it worded so it can protect our neighborhoods from any future sales of the property, and will allow the Quesadas to get to work on their space and to deter the homeless camps that have begun to grow on the lot and spread out into our neighborhood. Delaying or denying this FR rezoning will only allow for the lots to deteriorate more with these homeless camps. Councilwoman Martinez has stated her preferences for a coffee shop at this location. Coffee is not the business that the owners are in. However, we have helped them find a middle ground and have reached out and confirmed with multiple local cafe trucks within our community to park at this location and create a walkable sitting space for patrons and other events the community can host on site in addition to the car lot. We want our end of the corridor to be full and thriving and welcoming to business owners who live in our communities that want to help protect the surrounding homeowners and be actively involved with the neighborhood and corridor. Councilwoman Martinez, we encourage you to vote in a way that supports the wishes of the neighborhoods you were voted in by to represent on the platform which you ran, being a Latina and being the first Latina in Fort Worth City Council. Use that and help us support these Latino and Latina business owners who have built themselves from the ground up, who live in our community and whose children attend our schools. Bring a space to our neighborhood that not only serves as a business, but will help us bring beauty and walkability to our end of the corridor in a way that suits our neighborhood's needs and will help to bring revenue for our surrounding businesses and provide trustworthy and attainable services, not just to our community, but for any that should seek it out. JMSL and South Hemphill Heights Neighborhood Association have voted in support of this rezoning case. The Zoning Commission voted in support 7-1, and we encourage council to vote yes for zoning case 23-110. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Loretta Snoquezo, followed by Fernando Flores.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak with you this evening. My name is Loretta Snoquezo, and I live in the Rosemont neighborhood, which also borders Hemphill Street. I'm speaking today in support of my neighbors in JMSL and approval of this zoning change. This property has historically always been a car lot, and approving this zoning change would not be adding another one, especially since the other car lots on Hemphill are already being rezoned into other uses. That being said, this zoning change is about so much more than a simple car lot. It is about the community having developers that are community members and developments that they feel are attainable and best suited for their neighborhood. Mr. and Mrs. Quesada live within the community. Their children attend the neighborhood schools, and they are active members of this community. This is the type of developers and developments that Southside needs, rather than the out-of-state corporate developers. It is important for you all to consider the message you're sending your constituents in Southside with these type of zoning change approvals or denials. It was only a few short months ago that you all approved a zoning change where the developers had zero community engagement and massive community opposition. And now in this instance, you have a developer that's gone above and beyond with community engagement and has the community's support. You all have the opportunity with this decision to rebuild trust and support a Southside neighborhood with what they have decided is best for them. Please don't forget that community consensus should weigh more in your decision-making than what you personally want. According to the City of Fort Worth Development Zoning 101 classes, you all expect developers to complete a significant amount of community engagement. Mr. and Mrs. Quesada have done just that and more. They have attended multiple meetings in and around JMSL presenting their plans. It is my understanding that they have committed to JMSL leadership the use of this property for community events. Isn't that amazing? A developer that values our neighborhoods will contribute to them and help protect them. I respectfully request you all approve this zoning change, or at the very least, defer it for 30 days. The deferment would be so Mr. and Mrs. Quesada could meet with you all individually and work towards a solution. As I have been meeting different council members and building relationships, I have been encouraged to sit down and collaborate with developers. I am asking that you all meet the same standard. I am asking that you all meet the same standard, and Mr. and Mrs. Quesada, if they request a meeting with you, do not ignore it. Do not brush them off with a phone call, and do not deny the meeting. Sit down with them in person and collaborate so they can have a thriving business at that location and give back to the community and help Southside flourish. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Fernando Flores, followed by Vicky Vargas. Is Fernando here? There you go. Hi, Mr. Flores. Yes, sir. Come on up.
Good evening, Mayor, Councilwoman Jeanette Martinez, and the rest of you here in the City Council. My name is Fernando Flores. I reside at 2040 Hemp Hill. Have been there for over 40 years. Have been involved in the community for about that long. And in the neighborhood association, we also started the Hemp Hill Core Task Force back in '91. And I was sat there in the front in the hot seat. And I have to tell you that we spent tens of thousands of hours revitalizing Hemp Hill. It was destroying the whole city, the whole south side. That's how bad it was. And I wish I had more time to tell you a lot more about it, but one of the things that we decided was that we needed to limit the types of businesses on Hemp Hill before we cleaned it up. And we decided that in the different sections to change the zoning from F to E to keep some undesirable businesses. And that one of them, and this is not personal, was used car auto sales. Another one was beer joints. So that's what we did. But we didn't just jump in there. We spent a lot of time, had meetings, many meetings, where everybody was invited, wide open meetings, and we came up with this zoning, this E. And I just want to keep it short here tonight and tell you, we're not in favor. Look at what we've done on Hemp Hill. We're not in favor of turning the clock back. Tens of thousands of hours of volunteer work. And there's not a person here that can look at me and tell me that they were left out of the whole process, because that would be a lie. So I'm asking you tonight, and I also forgot to say that I represent the United Hispanic Council. We've been active for a long time. And if you were involved in redistricting, you saw what we did. I'm asking you to vote against the zoning change. It's not the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. Our next speaker is Vicky Vargas. Is Vicky here? Hi, Vicky. Come on down.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Vicki Vargas. I live at 301 East Drew in the Worth Heights neighborhood in District 11. I'm here to state my opposition to zoning case ZC 23-110. This change would allow a used car lot on this property. We're up to our ears in used car lots on Hemp Hill Street. At last count, there are at least 12, and that's not counting the cars that are sold on the side by the mechanic and auto body shops. If Hemp Hill is ever going to get cleaned up, we have to start somewhere. As Mr. Flores stated, we have previously worked to disallow these types of businesses. So it seems to me that voting to deny zoning case ZC 23-110 would be a good place to start to clean up Hemp Hill. So I'm asking you, please vote to deny this case. Thank you for your help.
Thank you, Ms. Vargas. Councilman Martinez, it's the last of our speakers.
So I want to begin by communicating that my office has received numerous emails and phone calls in opposition of this zoning request, and all this from neighbors that live in District 11. I'm in the like mind that we simply have enough car lots on Hemp Hill. And to put this into perspective, and like Ms. Vargas just said, we have at least 12 car lots on Hemp Hill between Morningside and Seminary. And this doesn't include those mechanic and body shops that sell cars off their properties. And this also doesn't take into account the full Hemp Hill corridor, which just adds to the number of car lots. Like you've heard, I would love to see a coffee shop, but it doesn't have to be a coffee shop.
I want to create a sense of community where we could work remotely, where our students can study, where young professionals can, just go and convene and be together, or an office space that would bring in good paying jobs. A shared workspace that our young professionals or college students could work out of. And these are just a few ideas. There's a vision to build Hemphill up, and this just feels like a step back. There's a reason this property was zoned down to E, as you heard from Mr. Flores, and that's an effort that was led by the community and a fight that will be continued. And it is for these reasons that I will be voting to deny with prejudice ZC 23110.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion, council? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-114.
We have one speaker on this item, Councilman Martinez, and that is Adrian Smith.
Mr.
Yes,
Smith?
yeah, I'm here. Yes, Councilmember Martinez, as you stated in the previous zoning case that you received numerous emails from community members in opposition to that zoning, and you also had individuals there who were in favor of the zoning change. So with this particular zoning case, we know that zoning can be we know the zoning commission, they make a decision to approve or disapprove, but it's ultimately up to the council who can override it. We've seen this happen numerous times when communities were disregarded because of maybe a council member's particular invested interest. So this particular site, when I looked at it on the map, my question to you is, this says the neighborhood commercial plus warehouse site plan included recommended by, so it said basically this development can be used for any purpose. And as I looked at the site map, there was already a business next to this empty lot, and then there's a residential community right behind this particular said lot. So my thing is, if they can put anything there, or have you received any communication from the community as it relates to this particular zoning case? Because if they can just change the zoning to their liking and put anything there, then what do the community stand to receive from this? Because they could put if they could put anything there, they could put a game room, they can put things that might bring the community down for say. So I'm glad that you are somebody who is considering everything that's going on within your district, and you are trying to help to rectify issues within your district. So yeah, that's more or less all I had to say on that. And I think next week I will be calling in for public comment, but I possibly will be going live tomorrow since the mayor has put words
Point
on
of
that
order, not
regarding,
germane.
Again, the Palestinian people deserve the right to exist.
Point of order. Point of order.
Sustained.
The Palestinian people.
Sustained. Thank you.
Order.
We have a motion. I don't have a motion.
Mr.
Floor is
Albari,
yours.
would you tell us a little bit about your project?
So folks can hear what you're planning.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Amr Elbarai with Elbarai Group. This project, we are not doing game rooms or gaming or auto shops or auto repair shops. This is, my partners and I are starting it's a new brand. It's called Work Park. And the idea is 2,000 to 3,000 square foot suites, office suites, with a little bit of warehouse availability, no outdoor storage. And the target the target tenant is going to be plumbers, electricians, HVAC contractors, a lot of blue collar workers, which actually a lot tend to live in these areas, in this neighborhood, close to it. And so what we found, we're a real estate developer, and we found that the very subcontractors that we work with have to drive sometimes 100 miles to their warehouse to get products to come back and do the work. And so what we're coming up with, Work Park, this is the one of many that we want to roll out. is doing these office warehouse, so the front of it looks like storefront, looks retail, looks very clean, but then there's an overhead door in the back where they can park their van, park their vehicle, and store some, supplies. This is not a general light industrial warehouse use by any means, not even close. So I believe that this fits very well within the community.
Well, I'm excited about the development. I have heard support for it, so I will motion to approve.
Thank you.
Motion and a second, please vote, council. Motion carry, oh, there we go, sorry, y'all. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-117.
We have a few speakers on this item. Mayor Pro Tem Bivens, the first, go ahead.
Aye. Green button, okay. I'm going to be denying this case with prejudice to allow the developer to come back. It is at the developer's request that I do deny it because they wanted it pulled. And denying it without prejudice so that you can come back. And I hope that satisfies anybody here who wants to speak so that we can go home.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Just confirming anybody in the audience is okay with not speaking this evening. Okay, I see Joe. Jared Hornsby was here, Dallas Rice, or Bishop Hornsby. We're good?
Yeah.
Okay, very well. Motion on the floor. Can I get a second, council? Thank you. Motion is second. Please vote.
That was it.
Thanks, Joe. See you next time.
Motion carries.
Next item is SP-23-0007.
Councilmember Bivens, only if there's opposition, which there is none. Mr. Rayojeski.
Move for approval. Hey, Ray.
Motion and a second. Please vote.
What, Ray, we agreed on a case. How about that? I like that. Thank you.
Jared, try again. Sorry, it didn't pick up. Jared, vote. You're fine. Motion carries.
Next item is SP-23-008.
Move for
Same.
approval.
Yep, thank you. Motion and a second. Please vote.
Yeah, we're gonna get y'all out of here. For real.
Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-122.
No speakers on this item. Councilmember Beck.
This one is, move to approve.
Motion a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-123.
Councilmember Flores, we have a few speakers. First is David Reeves, followed by Vanessa Martin. Both in support. Thank you, Mr. Reeves. Any questions, Councilmember Flores?
No questions, move for approval.
Motion a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-124.
We have one speaker on this item, only if there's opposition, which there is none. Randy Free. Councilmember Beck.
Move to approve.
Motion a second. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-125.
We have three speakers, but only if there's opposition, which there is none. Councilmember Martinez.
To approve.
Second, please vote. Oh, yeah, there we go. Elizabeth, hit your button. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-126.
We have no speakers on this item. Councilmember Beck.
Sorry, I'm going to move to continue it 30 days to the next zoning hearing, which is 11/14/23.
Continue. Motion a second, please vote.
I know what I'm doing, thanks.
Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-129.
We have one speaker on this item, Councilmember Hill, but only if there's opposition. Mary Nell Poole.
Mary Nell also save some time on this. I would like to move to approve, but first I wanted to state that we're going to do 55 units. It's going to be medium density on a piece of really rugged topography. I think it's a really good use of the space. I'd appreciate bringing it forward. So move to approve.
Second.
Motion a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-130.
We have one speaker on this item, Councilmember Hill, Carl Crawley.
Carl Crawley. I'm going to be real quick because I don't think I have any opposition. This is for Parker Hannaford. They have been in this location since the 50s. They want to basically leave their plant in operation. They do aerospace products for defense and everyone else, and build a new factory next to it, tear down the old one. It's pretty straightforward, so here to answer any questions otherwise.
Any questions, Councilmember Hill?
I have no questions. I appreciate you keeping your business in Fort Worth. Make a motion to approve.
Motion a second. Please vote, council. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-131.
Councilmember Beck, we have no speakers.
I am going to move to continue this case till 11/14/23 to give the applicant the opportunity to reach out to our office.
Motion. Second, council. Anyone? Second. Thank you. Motion a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-140.
Councilmember Flores, no speakers on this item.
Move for approval.
Motion a second. Please vote, council. Got Beck and Jean is not here. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-128.
Councilmember Hill says we have two speakers, but I don't have them.
Is she on the phone?
One is online.
I don't even. Sorry, y'all. Turn the page. I'm having struggle bus with that. Jacayla Boyd by phone, followed by Sarah Wallace.
Ms. Boyd?
I was just here to represent myself and answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Boyd. Any questions?
Do not have any questions.
No questions. Thank you, Jacayla. Our next speaker is Sarah Wallace. And Ms. Wallace is not present. Councilmember Hill.
Mrs. Boyd, we have not had the opportunity to meet or visit about this project, and I'd like for you to reach out to my office next time that you would like to have a zoning case like this. I am going to recommend denial of the zoning case due to the concerns with parking on the neighborhood street and conducting a business in a neighborhood zoned A5. In addition, the Parkview Hills HOA Property Management Company is opposed to the zoning case because it violates the deed restrictions in this neighborhood.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-143.
Councilmember Larsdorf, we have two speakers on this item. The first is Dev Sarati, followed by Shatan Patel.
We were not able to get a hold of Dev.
Okay, any luck with Mr. Patel?
Yes, we have him online.
I'm here to
Please go ahead.
answer a question.
Any questions, Councilmember Larsdorf for Mr. Patel?
No, I think he was only going to speak if there was opposition.
Okay, thank you. And that's probably the last of our speakers.
So I know Mr. Cerati is listening. So one, thank you, Mr. Cerati, for your patience in the process. There's a few things we didn't quite get right, but you were patient, and thanks to Ty and his team for making things right and moving things quickly, but without cutting corners. And thank you for bringing your business here to North Fort Worth. So with that, I move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 23-0858. 5-0.
Okay, entertain a motion, council. Motion and a second, please vote.
Next item is MNC 23-0866.
Entertain a motion, council. Councilmember Beck.
Move to approve.
Motion and a second, please vote.
Hi, Adrian.
Next item is MNC 23-0902.
Martinez, if you want to make a motion on this one.
So I move to approve.
Motion and a second.
Oh, wait.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm supposed to read this. So I move that the Fort Worth City Council adopt the resolution authorizing use of the power of eminent domain to acquire .110 acres and permanent sewer easement for real property owned by ITAD Estates LLC. The property interest is needed for a public use, the Jessamine Sanitary Sewer Project, for an easement to repair damaged sewer lines, allow better flow within the sewer pipes, and help prevent sewer backups between stations 6 through 58 and station 1075 on L284. The property rights and subject property are needed for the construction, operation, maintenance, replacement, upgrade, and repair of the permanent sewer line facility as needed. The property is located at 2140 South Main Street, Fort Worth, in the Bone Q Addition, Block 2, Lot 18 through 23, Tarrant County, Texas. The property interest to be acquired is described by meets and bounds and depicted by survey exhibits attached to this mayor and council communication.
Got a motion and a second, council. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 23-0857.
Councilmember Beck.
Move to approve.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 23-0871.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Mayor, I believe that concludes all of the action items.
Thank you, council. That's the conclusion of our meeting. Meeting adjourned.
With collaboration with the community and the city moving forward on this adventure. We do have a short 20-minute time frame for our presentation, so we are going to dive right in.